Hello, this is Dr. Dave Maslach talking to you about reciprocity.com. The E is written with a 3. And in this particular video, I'm going to show you what happens after putting out a video every single day on YouTube for 365 days. So I'm going to show you all of the analytics and just go through exactly what's going to happen if you try to do something like this yourself. So if you don't know, I'm actually a professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship, and I created this reciprocity platform. The E is written with a 3, and really what it was about, it was a sharing economy proofreading platform that created it. I got developers to help me out with this thing, some contract developers. We built it, put it out online, and absolutely nothing happened. I thought it was a great idea in that it would work and it would be something that you can continuously build on. So really there was, the idea behind it is that you can actually get free proofreading as long as you help out other people. And if you want to take money out of the system or you want to put money into the system, it's going to just cost you a little bit of money if you want to buy credits. And then on top of it, I thought it was really useful for graduate students and people that are doing, writing on a regular basis, right? So being a professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship, this is something that I actually wanted. This was the reason why I created it, because there's really nothing out in the wild right now in terms of somebody doing a platform like this. And I also thought it'd be very helpful for research and for people that are doing research to get access to a particular platform like this. You can watch some of the other videos where I talk about A/B experiments with doing or having a platform like this. So, but the trouble is I put this online and I got no traffic at all. And I started paying for traffic, and that was really expensive. So I started to actually do some YouTube videos, and I put out a little bit. And then at the end of June last year, I decided to start doing videos every single day and to see what would happen with the traffic. And initially, really nothing happened with the traffic. It actually went down in terms of the traffic and when I started doing these YouTube videos. But then over time, it gradually started to grow. And I started to get a little bit more traffic as I started to put out YouTube videos, and I started to learn how to do, just properly put them out a little bit, make sure that they were just optimized to get views and things like that in terms of SEO. There's really nothing fancy with this SEO stuff, by the way. And I started putting out more videos, and over the course of a year, the traffic slowly increased. So I want to show you the analytics to doing this particular activity of what happens after you put out videos every single day for 365 days. And I would say that this is really normal in terms of the performance of putting out YouTube videos without doing anything tricky. If anybody is showing anything that is, rocketing up or anything like that, there's probably something tricky going on in the background, and you have to be slightly skeptical with what they are doing. This was completely legitimate. I'm a professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship, so I'm not going to do anything that's not, that's kind of tricky in any sort of way. And I want to make sure that just everybody sees what happens with doing something like this, and what it actually takes to build a particular platform like reciprocity, right? Then it does take a fair bit of effort and time. And for me, it's been sort of a risky and uncertain endeavor, right? So exactly what innovation is, because I'm going up for tenure, and it freaks me out with doing something that's new and different. If you don't know what tenure is, basically other people assess what your performance is. And this is kind of unusual, very, very unusual for somebody to do this. And so it can be interpreted in a lot of different ways. And I did not, I'm just very nervous about doing this kind of activity, right? Because anytime you do anything that's unusual, it can be interpreted in crazy different ways. So anyways, enough being said, I want to show you what happens with the YouTube analytics. So in the last year, my watch time has increased fourfold. So this is 4x from the last year. And you can see it's a gradual, very, very gradual increase over time. And I started to learn a little bit better how to do just putting in keyword tags and making sure the description was a little bit more focused, and trying to find more focused keywords, I guess, not really keywords, but just trying to make sure that it was a little bit more focused with what I was doing right around here. And you can see the traffic started to increase, but in general, it didn't really make much of a difference. If you look at this, this is just a normal sort of exponential growth pattern, right? It's a slow exponential growth. At the beginning, nothing really happens. And then at the end, I started to actually do ads a little bit. So here from June until, I don't know, it was about September, I was doing ads, but they were not effective the way that I was doing them. And I switched to, and I stopped doing ads. This was completely no ads at all. And then the last little bit, and I'll show you the analytics where you can see that. The last little bit, I started doing some ads, and they're a little bit more effective. So if you do ads right, you can actually speed up your growth, but not in terms of the organic growth. And, you know, I'm not going to show you that right now, but I wanted to show you what happens, or how much growth that is per, you know, for the time being, right? So when you look at this, that's almost 4 times, or that is 4x in terms of the growth that I'm getting. You know, for a long time, nothing was happening at all. It was 0% growth, right? But then I started getting a little bit more growth, and people were actually subscribing to the channel a little bit more. So you could see it actually took a long time to do this. Now let's look to see what actually happens with the growth, right? So the blue this is all organic. You can see this is what I was saying, that there's nothing really tricky going on here. So the blue is all organic, and this is actually, if you look at this organic growth, this is pretty just a normal, this very, very smooth curve here. We can even smooth it out a little bit more by going 28-day averages, rolling 28-day averages. You can see it's a lot more smoother. And this is just a normal trajectory. And this is what you should expect when you're doing anything like this. If anything's shooting up after a certain amount of time, or a short amount of time, you have to be a little bit suspicious on what actually is going on behind the scenes, right? So there's probably something else that you don't see. And that's what I learned. One of the lessons I learned is that there's nothing, it's just like doing research or writing or being in graduate school, going to school, there's nothing fancy. If you learn, there's nothing fancy that goes on behind the scenes. You're not going to see any sort of remarkable shooting up of any particular performance. It's just a gradual increase over time. A slow gradual increase over time, but that gradual increase actually goes faster and faster. So this is, I'm going to switch back to the 7-day averages. So this right here is all of so this reddish kind of color here, this is all of the suggested videos, and you can see that it slowly grows as well. So more videos are being suggested. There's nothing fast going on here at all. And then the red is external. So this is generally Google search. That will get popped up on Google search, or as well as, you know, just like Facebook and stuff. But Facebook is actually really, really tiny. And that's why I actually stopped putting Facebook or LinkedIn or anything. I was doing videos, putting them up on Facebook and LinkedIn. This is getting no traffic. I could show you that. I'll dig down in terms of the external in a minute. And this, you can see here, this is where I started advertising. And you can notice that the advertising has maybe a small bump in terms of the suggested videos, but not a lot, and it does not affect the organic search at all. So, which is, I mean, that's exactly what Google wants, right? It's just this kind of normal pattern. And then I'm just getting more views here, which gives me a few subscribers, which is why this part is growing. The suggested videos is growing. So I'll show you the external, and just so you could see what's going on with the external. You can see that almost all of it is Google search, right? The vast majority, that's the blue, that's the external that's growing. So that's all Google search. And Facebook is so of the external, which is only a small fraction. You can remember the last one, that is only 7%, 8% of the videos that I'm getting are from Facebook. And it was really just here. I'd put out every once in a while, I'd just put a video on Facebook. And that's only 20 minutes of people watching. That's so tiny. It's not worth your time to actually do anything on Facebook with this. Quora, I'm getting a little bit from Quora, and that's growing slowly over time. But still really tiny. I mean, you're talking fractions, right? You're talking, so for here, you know, you're talking maybe a couple of minutes from going onto Quora, right? And sort of promoting things on Quora. So you're not getting a lot at all. So it's not really worth your time. You're better off just doing more YouTube videos and putting out more content that way, and just being a legitimate, real person and doing this over and over and over again. And so I'm going to actually show you what happens to the website, right? So I wanted to show you what was happening with the traffic on the platform, right? So you can see this is a number of sessions that I'm getting over time. You can see that it's growing steadily over time. You can see in October, I was getting 24 per week of people actually visiting, and I was putting out YouTube videos every single day at that point. And now, without the advertising, this is where advertising happened. Without the advertising, I'm getting 138 per day or per week, which is still small, but it is growing, right? Like, that's pretty good growth. That means it's 5-fold increase over time. And that's precisely what you want, is this steady, slow growth over time. This shows you that there is just this steady, there's nothing tricky going on. And that's what Google wants, is this sort of slow, steady growth. That means that there's nothing that is, you know, it's pretty legitimate with what I'm doing here. I'm not trying to show you or just sort of do anything that's tricky. So that's all I wanted to show you. And I wanted to just demonstrate that over 365 days, this does grow. It's a steady, slow growth, but it is something that actually happens, and it does do precisely what you want, right? So that's it. Thank you so much for following along. I appreciate everything, and take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.